I hope you've got a high level idea about the data lifecycle or the data pipeline. Now let's look at Databricks and where does it fit. Now you see, I have put DBX next to Databricks because this is the short form of Databricks. And if I'm using DBX anywhere, you'd know that I'm talking about Databricks only. So first of all, what is Databricks? It is known as, or it is defined as, a data intelligence platform. The reason intelligence is there because Databricks supports machine learning, it supports GenAI, large language models, etc. So that's why it is known as a data intelligence platform. But as far as data engineers are concerned, you can consider Databricks as a data platform, which provides end-to-end data lifecycle solutions. It is used for enterprise grade data, enterprise grade analytics, and ML solutions. And this is an important one because Databricks is quite famous and it is used by a lot of applications, lot of enterprise grade applications or enterprise grade organizations, which tells you the scale of Databricks and the popularity of Databricks. It is the most popular data platform. There are only a few data platforms out there. One is Databricks and the other one is Azure Fabric. Snowflake is also trying to be another data platform, but as far as the most famous data platform is concerned, Databricks is the one as of this recording. And I think it would take any other data platform quite some time to beat Databricks because Databricks is very mature and feature rich. It provides a lot of advanced features. Also, it is pretty mature in a sense that the platform is pretty stable. And you can imagine that by looking at the customers of Databricks, all the big organizations in the world use Databricks. That's why I have written it that it is used for enterprise grade data, analytics, and ML solutions. Databricks is not that much for GenAI yet because for GenAI there are a lot of other players. But as far as data platform is concerned, Databricks is right out there. And this is the diagram that I have taken from the Databricks documentation itself. The reason I pulled this diagram because it is a very strong diagram and it tells you the capabilities and the reach of the Databricks data platform. It provides integration with business intelligence tools like Power BI, Tableau, etc. It provides data warehousing solutions. It provides AI and data science capabilities. And of course, it has to provide ETL and real-time analytics using Spark. Not only that, Databricks also provide orchestration solution. So if you think of the data lifecycle or if you think of the data engineering pipeline, everything is covered by Databricks. We do not need to use any other solution apart from the Databricks data intelligence platform because it gives you end-to-end solution or end-to-end capabilities to handle the entire data lifecycle. It also provides data governance using something called Unity Catalog, and all of this sit on the open data lake or lakehouse. From this diagram, we can conclude that the Databricks platform or the Databricks data platform has multiple components. The first and the most important component would be the ETL and data engineering because this is where Databricks started. It started with the data engineering and the ETL solution, then it moved into other solutions also. Then it provides data lakehouse solution using something called Delta Lake, and we'll talk about what lakehouse is. It also provides real-time stream processing. And when you looked at the data lifecycle, you had seen that there are two types of processing that can occur in a data engineering pipeline. One is the batch processing and the other one is the real-time processing. So Databricks provides both. So the batch processing would be done by ETL and data engineering component, and the stream processing would be done by the real-time stream processing component. Now there are other components like data warehouse and OLTP database also. The OLTP database is new in the Databricks platform. It was not there earlier, but because the database falls in the data lifecycle, that's why Databricks thought that let us bring in or let us provide a feature or a capability to handle the transactional database also. So that's why Databricks came up with OLTP database solution as well. Then you have data ingestion, data governance, and data sharing, which cuts across all these components. And this part itself is another component of Databricks. Then we have other solutions like unit testing, system testing, etc. There's DevOps, there's CI/CD pipeline, the data pipeline orchestration, etc. So this is the complete suite that the Databricks data platform provides. Now, if you have to ask what are the technical components inside of these individual boxes like the ETL and data engineering, data lakehouse, etc., let's look at those. The ETL and data engineering are handled by these components or these technologies. Spark is the foundation of Databricks. Then there is something called Lakeflow. We'll talk about Lakeflow later on. And then Delta Lake. Delta Lake is the lakehouse which is provided by Databricks. So the data lakehouse is nothing but Delta Lake. So whenever you hear the term Delta Tables or Delta Lake, it is nothing but a lakehouse implementation by Databricks. The real-time stream processing is handled by Spark structured streaming. So Spark is there in both batch processing and stream processing. Then there is data warehouse, which is handled by SQL warehouse in the Databricks world. And as I told you that OLTP database is new in Databricks' data intelligence platform. The name of the OLTP database is called Lakebase, which is built on top of PostgreSQL open source database. Now, these are the technologies which support multiple components or features that are offered by Databricks. So, these are the features or components that are offered by Databricks, and the technology behind these components are these. Likewise, we have Lakeflow Connect, Kafka, Autoloader, etc. for data ingestion. For data governance, we have Unity Catalog. Unity Catalog is also used for data sharing. And then there is Delta Sharing, which in integration with Unity Catalog provides the data sharing capabilities. For testing, DevOps, CI/CD, etc., there are a lot of components available. For example, Databricks has integration with PyTest, using which we can perform different testing stages like unit testing, integration testing, etc. As far as DevOps and CI/CD are concerned, Databricks provide tight integration with Git. It provides integration with Lakeflow pipeline, which caters to the CI/CD pipeline. Then Pylon, GitHub Actions, Jenkins, etc. Now, all of these combined together gives us the CI/CD flavor on top of Databricks. And of course, there are monitoring also. Now, before going to the next slide, I want to call out a few things. The first is that Spark is the foundation of Databricks because, as I told you, that Databricks started with ETL and data engineering and real-time processing. The real-time processing was added just after ETL and data engineering. In both the cases, you see Spark. So Spark is the foundation of Databricks. And nice trivia is that Spark was created by the founders of Databricks itself. And even today, Databricks is the largest community of Spark open source. Now, whatever Spark feature you see, in most of the cases, all those features would first be released on Databricks, then it would come to Spark open source. That's why knowing Spark is very important and the main pillar of learning Databricks. It also provides Unity Catalog, which is the data governance piece. It provides Lakehouse in the form of Delta Lake. Also, the capability of machine learning and GenAI. Another interesting part is that it can be hosted on any of the clouds. It can be AWS, it can be Azure, it can be GCP also. So we can use any one of the cloud providers of our choice to host the Databricks platform. Now let us pull up the data workflow again, and where does Databricks fit here? I cannot show you all the nitty-gritties and the details in this diagram, but obviously I'll cover all of this in the due course. But as of now, let's look at the major components. Now, as far as the data sources are concerned, Databricks does not provide any application capability because it is a data platform, not an application platform. But I had told you that Databricks has come up with OLTP database, and that's where Postgres Lakebase come into play. So Lakebase is the OLTP database which is provided by Databricks. And the database flavor or the database engine that Lakebase uses is PostgreSQL, which is the most famous open source database engine. Then comes the ingestion stage, and there are a lot of components in the ingestion stage that is provided by Databricks. For example, Spark, Lakeflow Connect, Kafka, Autoloader, etc. Now, these are some of the components which are there in the ingestion stage of the data lifecycle. As far as storage is concerned, Databricks provides only one thing, which is Delta Lake, and Delta Lake is the lake house. Now, if you want a data lake, we'll have to use any one of the cloud providers' data lake. If you are using AWS, it has to be S3. If you are using Azure, it has to be Azure Blob Storage or ADLS. If you are using Google Cloud, it has to be Google Cloud Storage. As far as processing is concerned, there are two types of processing, batch and stream processing. In both the cases, Spark is used. Databricks does not provide any other processing engine apart from Spark. Of course, there is SQL also. Now, for the final storage layer, like the data warehouse, lakehouse, etc., Databricks provides SQL warehouse. We have already seen lakehouse, which is handled by Delta Lake, and as far as the database is concerned, it is handled by PostgreSQL Lakebase. It does not have any functionality or capability on the consumption layer because these are mostly applications. The consumption layer does not exactly fit into the data lifecycle. The reason it is still put in the data lifecycle because the data scientists, data analysts, etc., or for that matter, other data applications use the consumption layer. So that's why it is there in the data lifecycle or the data pipeline itself. And there are other tools available for all these applications, like for reporting, there is Power BI, there's Tableau, there's QuickSight, etc. For ad hoc analytics, however, Databricks provides notebook or interactive SQL execution engine. Not only that, Databricks also provides capabilities to run machine learning pipeline also.